Hi y'all, welcome to my shop. I like to keep a supply of jam chucks, friction chucks, threaded glue blocks on hand. So when the time comes I need them, I don't have to stop and fiddle fart around and make one. I ran across this glued up poplar scrap. It's a bit more than 1.5 inches thick and almost 6 inches across. So wasn't useful for anything else. I didn't want to make a bowl or anything with this seam down it, so I thought, well, this will make a great opportunity to make a threaded glue block. So let me show you how I'm doing that. I marked the circumference. I marked a couple of circles because I wasn't sure exactly what size I wanted, but this inner circle is going to be the recess that fits. I'll show you that later. And the outer is going to be for a recess two recesses I'm going to put on it. So I'm going to put this thing against this set of chuck jaws using the centering hole I've already got. I could cut this on the bandsaw. Matter of fact, I think I probably will. Probably be faster. So I've mounted this up flush against my normal jaws to support it, and that'll hold it. That'll certainly hold it tight enough. I'm going to go ahead and round this thing off to the finished rounding. I'm using a small bowl gouge. Put them in from each side so I don't splinter the edge. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 2 and 3/16 and figure out. I'm going to cut a recess that I'm going to use to hold this thing to drill with, and that's just about that circle right there. So I'm going to go ahead and use a detail gouge, I think, and just waste out just a tiny little bit of wood, and then I'm going to come back in there with a dovetail scraper. Just take out a little bit of wood, just a little bit. I'm going to use a dovetail scraper. I'm just going to come in here with that dovetail scraper. That's got it. Now I'm going to go ahead and chuck this with that recess. I'm going to be drilling that hole for tapping. So what I'm going to do to keep from accidentally drilling into my chuck, I'm going to use this little disc that I just turned, that I happen to have a little cylinder on hand, so that'll work great. And that will keep me from accidentally. So I'm going to drill a 1 1/8 inch hole appropriate for my Beall tap, and put that in my drill chuck. Seat it. This fairly soft wood, so I don't need to be in too big a hurry drilling. So I'm going to get the speed down to less than 1,000, a little, closer to 500. Lock this down and just drill. And I will know when I've gone through. And that little scrap of wood will protect me. And there we go. Alright, so now I've got this through hole. Now I'm ready to start tapping. So I'm going to use my cone center to kind of center this tap. We're just going to start it in here. We're going to bring up, I'm going to use this little tool to pivot it a little bit. So we're just going to bring that up because there's a little bit of recessed hole in the back. So I just put just a little bit of tension on it. And then just turn it. And I'm going to turn on my spindle lock, keep this thing from turning. There we go. And I'm going to get started. Just bring that up. Keep snugging it up. Keep it on center. And then at some point in time, I've got to back it up just a little bit to clear chips. And back it up. Do it again, and just continue until I get this hole tapped. Once you get it going good, it's not as difficult to center it or to back it up. Once you get it going good, you don't have to worry too much about centering it. This Beall tap is just such a handy tool, and repays for itself many times over for so many projects with threaded glue blocks and wooden face plates and friction chucks and jam chucks. Back it up about every couple of turns. I've come all the way through, so I'm going to just, I could put this in a vise, probably make it even easier. But rather than walk across the shop and put it in a vise, I remembered I have this strap clamp, so I'm just going to use that. Easier than just holding it in my hands. And I'm just going to thread it all the way through. And there we go. So I've got these nice threads. So now I need to cut a little recess that'll fit this 1 1/4 inch shoulder on the spindle, so when I mount this it will actually seat on there if I'm using a threaded glue block. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to thread this on. And before I do, I think I'm going to rub a little wax on here. I could put a little CA glue, but frankly most of the time I don't find that necessary. I'm just going to put a little wax and thread this on. Now it's registered against the front of that, but I want it to register actually a little deeper than that on the inside. So I'm going to just come in here with a box scraper, and I'm only going to go down just a little ways. And that recess is not but about, double check it, about 1/8 of an inch. Just a hair more than 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to use a negative rake scraper. And what this allows me to do is, depending on whether I have a chuck, if I have the chuck already mounted on here, it might be easier for me to just put this in the chuck recess. If I don't have a chuck, it's going to be faster to use a threaded glue block. But now I've got this very nice faceplate. I can round this off. I can shape it to make a drive plate for the inside of a bowl, or I can use it as a large glue block, whatever. I hope this tip was useful for you. If it was, or if it wasn't, please leave a comment below. If you want to learn more about chucking tips, tricks, and techniques, you might want to check out my video playlist on a number of videos I have on chucking. Y'all stay safe. Come on back here.